Thank you, Senator Xenophon. Senator Rice.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I rise today to speak to the Liquid Fuel Emergency Bill 2017. And this bill is part 2 of the government's reform package to the way that we collect information on our liquid fuel holdings and maintaining our compliance with our obligations under the International Energy Agency. And part of these obligations is that Australia hold on to, at minimum, 90 days of liquid fuel stocks. And we heard in the Senate inquiry, the Rural, Regional Affairs and Transport Senate inquiry, which I was part of, as to how that requirement for us to hold on to 90 days of liquid fuel stocks has not been met for a very long time. There's a good reason as to why that is an appropriate thing for Australia to have. According to data released by the Organisation of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, in 2016, OPEC currently controls 81.5% of the existing world oil reserves and account for around 60% of global exports. And since the OPEC crises of the 1970s, where the OPEC nation-states limited the export of oil and prices quadrupled in major oil importing countries, there's been an understanding that the oil and petroleum supply chain is one of, if not the most precarious supply chains in the world. And so it makes sense for countries like Australia to have a supply of fuel so that we are not affected by disruptions to that supply chain. Our Senate committee heard that 95% of our transport currently runs on petroleum products, including the petrol that you know of, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, LPG, bunker fuel and other oil products. And so in the event of a disruption in the oil supply chain,